done. They didn't. Here he is after the loss.
Front row, John.
John Corrales, MassLive.com. Kyrie, what was the cause of the that third quarter run? Did you feel like you guys may have gotten caught up in some of the calls that were going against you?
I mean, it's inevitable, you know. I mean, a guy comes down almost 6 times in a row, gets free throws. You know, what are you really going to do is slowing the game down. So the run that you would hope to make in a quarter like that doesn't happen. I mean, he shot 22 on the game. I mean, it's getting ridiculous at this point. You know, it's just slowing the fucking game down. So,
Chris.
Chris Gasper, Boston Globe. You know, Mike Budenholzer was in here and he said, you know, the spirit of our group is good. The challenge is to keep it there. What's the spirit of your group at this time, and what's the challenge?
I mean, we have another chance to respond at home. You know, they took care of business. The third quarter is really where they made their mark on the game, and you got to give credit. George Hill was the X factor tonight, having 21 off the bench, going 9 for 12. You know, we just have to do a better job of limiting that. I think that we did a great job of starting off the game really well, going into halftime. You know, obviously ending the half in a fashion that probably wasn't our best, and then coming out in that third quarter giving up 40 points. You know, that's not a characteristic we want to carry over into the next game, and we'll be better. We'll need a little bit more from our bench, a little bit more consistency from me going to the basket, especially as well as the three-point line. And hopefully we can even out the free throws, not just in the fourth quarter.
Mark James, Nesson, WEI. Kyrie, you've been involved in a lot of playoff games, especially NBA Finals. Have you ever personally been involved where the officiating's been so poor on one side?
I mean, hey, the refs have a difficult job. We have a difficult job. Obviously, I could sit up here and can complain. We know the disparity and what it is, but I'm not going to put all the emphasis on the refereeing. I think that there are a lot of controllable things on our end that we can be better at. You know, obviously the officiating is going to be part of it. Hopefully you can, you know, you wish that things can go your way, but they don't, and we have to be able to respond in a better, you know, a better circumstance. We just got to respond better, and I think that we will do that going into Game 4. I'm confident in this group. I'm confident in the talent that we have here, and as well as the basketball IQ. We just have to bring it to another level of being in the right spots, and really focusing on where we could take advantage on their defensive miscues. You know, they turn their heads on plays where guys are driving to the basket. They still have the same frantic defense. They've made adjustments, and now we go back and watch film of where, you know, instances in the game where we can control. We just have to do better.
Gary?
Kyrie, Gary Walsh from Boston Globe. One, when you put him in the bonus with 8 minutes left in the third quarter, how does that affect your defense, your mentality, when you know any kind of physical contact is probably going to be a foul? And secondly, how do you guys not lose control like you did in that third quarter, and it seemed like the officiating became the dominant theme?
Yeah, like I said, it's difficult, but it's something that we can manage. And when it does happen at that point in the game, we just got to collect ourselves and be ready to move on to the next play. Obviously, we know how many free throws he shot a game. You know, he's a great player in our league. We know how many times he goes to the baskets and get contact. But we also understand how many times we go to the basket and get contact. And it's a playoff game, and guys are playing very aggressive. And when you get into the bonus with 8 minutes left to go in the third, it's definitely a shocker. You know, it'll definitely put something in your mind where you don't want to touch anyone. And you know, they shot free throws, and like I said, in any instance in a game like that, when you go into the bonus early on, it slows the game down. And then they're making runs, they're making threes down the stretch. Then we start pulling in even more on Giannis. We put an emphasis on stopping his drives, and then those other guys get going. And that was the primary thing that happened in the third quarter. As I look at the score, at the box score, you know, I thought that some of the numbers were going to shoot, you know, spark. They were going to come off the page, and the only thing that comes off the page is that third quarter and 22 free throws. Like I said, there are some things that we obviously can control, but the officiating, we're going to leave them alone next game. We're going to do a better job of walling up, better job of staying straight up, make sure that there aren't any, you know, just eye-catching calls. We're just going to make sure we stay solid. I'm going to make sure I communicate with our guys that, hey, if this is the way we're going to play, we're not going to adjust to them. We're going to make them adjust to us.
Hey, Kyrie. This is Jason Chen from Tencent Sports. You guys, the Bucks score 52 points in the paint, and I mean, like, is this like normal? How you guys prepare to guard them like in the paint next game?
Well, I'm living with that. I'm living with that. You know, we can manage the game a lot better when we're giving up twos rather than threes. Obviously, game 2 was a completely different shot chart for them. And we'll go back and like I said, I'm going to keep saying it, we're going to watch where we can see where we can control and manage the game better. But 52 in the paints doesn't shock me. They've done it all season. It's just when those other guys are getting timely threes and then they're throwing it down in the post with Chris Middleton, or they're making threes off our overhelp. So we'll do a better job of walling up and guarding Giannis better, guarding Chris better, and as well as limiting those other guys to, you know, Connaughton had 14 points, 5 for 11, 4 for 9 from the three-point line. George was 9 for 12 for 21 points. Those are big points in the game, especially in the playoff series where, you know, you want to limit guys from getting going. So those are things that we'll put an emphasis on and move on to the next game.
Final 2 questions, Mark.
Kyrie, Mark D'Amico, Celtics.com on your left. You spoke earlier about how you want to get downhill during Game 4 and create at the basket. Can you just speak to, nothing to do with the refs, but what are the challenges of scoring in the paint against this team in particular, and how can you guys create more offense in that area moving forward?
I have to be more efficient. I got to be more efficient, especially when I'm getting downhill on those switches. I got to punish those guys, and that's as simple as that. I got to do what I'm really great at, and that's getting downhill and making plays and getting to the rim and dishing out. But when I get a big on me,
Kyrie, Jared Weiss from The Athletic Boston. I know you have like a great floater game and you're able to kind of score pretty much anywhere in the paint, but when you have that kind of back and forth going to the line, do you feel like you need to initiate that contact or really seek that contact and try to get that free throw battle going?
man, I just got to keep my eyes on the rim and just be efficient in that paint area. You know, I wish that I could have probably a more elaborate answer for you of what I got to do around that paint and my floater game and what I'm great at, but it's really just about being efficient, especially the rest of the series. You know, from this point on, I don't think you'll see another 8 for 22, you know, or any missed layups or looking for the refs for calls or anything like that. It's just who's going to outscore the other team and who's going to be better efficient at it. But when I do get in there, I'm looking to score, and I'm looking to finish with contact, whether the refs call it or not.
Thank you, Kyrie.
Thank you.
All right, so a lot there.
Man, hey, somebody tell Kyrie it's still a family show, man. Kids can't be out here dropping the F-bomb on national television.
As somebody who mildly might understand a history of this, you want to make sure the mics are clear before you go ahead and make that mistake.
You've had that,
Kyrie.
you've had that type of mistake before?
Don't know what you're talking about. Somebody falsified that in my Wikipedia. Look, here's the thing, too. And afterwards, it's a shame that happened because afterwards you like a lot of what he said because he didn't take the bait on what I thought, and I wrote this down. And I hate to, look, we got to be fair. You know, players get on players, media get on media. That's a dumb question. You can't sit there and say, considering how disparaging and how terrible the refereeing was. I mean, look, if you're sitting there as a media member, I mean, come on.
But Casey, you know how it is.
Come on, man.
A lot of times, media members, they come in there with agenda.
Yeah,
They have their story already written. They just they need you to fill it in for them if you let them. I'm glad Kyrie didn't let that particular media member bait him into
I thought he handled that well.
In a silly fashion.
He handled that well, I thought. But I want to ask about that. When you have Giannis on another team, he's going to get to the line some if he's aggressive, right? You're either going to get out of the way and he's going to score, or you're going to foul him. He had 32 points, 16 were in the paint on his 8 of 12, and 16 were at the line. That's where he scored. He didn't need to take threes in this game. So how do you limit that when a lot of dudes are going to be fouling him, whether it's a real foul or not?
So what I heard the frustration being about was an old school way of playing in terms of attacking the paint. Mm-hmm. And when you attack the paint and you constantly are putting pressure, going to the rim, getting to the rim, then guess what? You get to the foul line and you get fouled early, and sometimes you get in the bonus with 8 minutes to go in the game. That used to be a big part of strategy in the game, getting somebody's player off the floor, getting them 2 fouls, getting to the bonus early, and therefore you can control tempo. you can get to the foul line, you can score from the foul line, and don't necessarily have to depend on your offense to score. That used to be a strategy in the game, in every playoff game that you played in. Today's game is they don't go to the paint, they stand outside, they shoot on the perimeter, and what Giannis, to his credit, has said, I am not going to fall into being baited by everybody telling me I can't shoot the three, so I'm going to keep chucking up the three. He's saying, stop me from getting to the paint, and if you can't stop me, okay, then you're going to foul me and I go to the foul line. And that's what the Celtics had a problem with tonight.
Important to point out on the way to break, Coach Bud was asked, what happened at the end of the game last 5 minutes? You started fouling? Not what happened. Jason Tatum, 2 or 3 times, I think they were the only 2 or 3 times,
went to the basket.
Right to the basket and got fouled every time.
Hey, Zeke, man,
those
new school analytics people ain't going to like
we
you.
We will have more. We'll hear from Giannis.
Facts are facts.
How about the Greek Freak and his boys with a win on the road?
I know all year long Bud has been asking for aggressive George, that's what he wants. Just how big is it for you to have a night like this where you go out and are able to contribute in that way?
I don't know. I just go out, try to do my job, the best I can. And, if that's playing defense hard as I can, or if that's taking the opportunity to score when I can do that. But it's all about just winning the game, no matter what happens, no matter how many I score or what I do. I just want to win.
Giannis, Mark James, Ness, and WEI here in Boston. Question, after game 1, you guys have made the adjustments in game 2 and tonight. Have you guys figured out what the Celtics have done? And do you sort of feel like now that the momentum has swung back to you guys, you've taken control of the series again?
Yeah, we made some adjustment after game 1. But I think most importantly, we played hard going to game 2 and game 3. We just got to keep playing good basketball, keep defending, and just keep believing in ourselves. I think if we do that and we just trust one another, we're going to get control of this series.
Matt Velasquez, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Giannis, just in terms of the aggressive play and the physicality, just what was your approach to trying to get to the line, and then what's going through your mind when the crowd is, obviously objecting to the calls, and you're at the line and you have to, make those shots?
I'm just going to keep being aggressive. That's what my teammates want me to do. I've said that in the past. That's what I'm going to keep doing. I love getting to the free throw line. I've worked on it. I'm shooting my free throws with confidence, so it's easy points for me and my teammates. I'm just going to keep being aggressive. I got to take it all the way. And I really do not focus in the crowd. Yeah.
Nicole Yang with the Boston Globe. George, Pat mentioned that the two of you like to talk about a bench mob mentality. How do you define that?
I mean, that's just, our starter's been good all year long. And when I got here, one of the things that we had to do was give them breaks. And, by saying that is we have to go in and change the game. Either, we take the score up or keep it the same. And that's going to be energy and effort. And that's something I think, as a group, all our guys coming off the bench, we take pride in that. We take pride in going in, trying to change the game, give our starters periods of time where they can get rest because we know they play extended minutes and things like that. But that's just, giving coach confidence in us and giving our teammates confidence in us when we're in the game to do the right thing.
Mike Petralia, CLNS Media here in Boston. Giannis and Chris, both, what do you remember about last year and how much did that losing the games here in Boston, how much did that motivate you guys to maybe kind of prove a point here tonight in game 3?
Chris?
I mean, really all I remember about is just losing that series. I mean, and I don't think this year we came in to prove a point. It's different seasons, different teams, so we were playing well on the road all year long, so I mean, we're not worried about who we're playing against, really. It's about us and trying to find a way to win games in advance. So, I mean, we forgot about last year, moved on from it.
Same.
Steve Ashburner, NBA.com. In the fourth quarter, you guys had a big lead, sort of any or all of you.
They cut that lead down by getting to the foul line repeatedly. How much was that them pushing through the door, and how much of that was you guys holding the door open? And what was your level of concern in those final minutes?
You want, Chris?
I mean, I think it was half and half. I mean, they did a great job of, forcing the issue some. We just got to do a better job of playing without fouling. I mean, I think we had lapses a little bit between the quarters or whatever, but for the most part, I think we played a full 48 of our basketball.
Eric Name, The Athletic. Giannis, Brad in his postgame circled the play where you were coming down in transition and kicked it to George for the corner three in the third quarter is kind of the play that defined what you were able to find that balance. Just how big was that tonight to start off so aggressive, but then also have a night where you have as many assists as you do?
It's amazing. I think, the whole team was ready. The whole team was, mentally, physically ready. And at the end of the day, I'm going to keep making plays. I'm going to keep being aggressive, and my team has got to be ready to shoot. And today they've been knocking down shots, and going to game 2, my approach towards the game had to change. So I told my teammates that they got to be ready to shoot because they were double teaming me. They were building a wall, so I had to make the right pass. And going on to this series, that's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to keep making the right pass. I think the bench did a great job, just coming in, being aggressive. They had 40, what is this? Let me see, 21, 14, 40-something points. It's amazing. It's amazing when these guys can come into the game, step up, knock down big shots. And we're just going to keep trusting one another. We're going to keep playing good basketball, and that's going to put us in position that we can win games.
Jared Weiss, also the Athletic. Giannis, in game 1, they were over here. They were really trying to load up high and force you to go left down the seam and then kind of play with the baseline wall. It seems that you've been able to find different angles to attack and kind of cut them up. What has been your approach as far as trying to attack from different parts of the court where you feel like you can kind of get in between the way that they load up on you?
My approach, as I said before, it's changed a little bit. That I'm trying to find my teammates first. But I think Coach Brad has done a great job just putting me in different spots on the floor that it's hard for them to double team, it's hard for them to build the wall. But at the end of the day, they'll send the second guys when you pass the ball, when you find the open guys. So I think that's what I've done 2 games now, and that's where we've hurt them the most.
Time for 2 more, Matt, and then last one in Greek.
Yeah, Matt Velasquez, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. George, you spent a lot of time in this series on Kyri Irving. You spent a lot of time on him in the past. Just how much has that past experience guarding him helped prepare you for this situation?
I mean, it's big. You have familiarity with guys and things like that, but it's nothing that I'm doing. It's a team game, and I'm just out there doing the initial stop. And Giannis and Chris and guys like Brooke, Bled, all those guys, our whole team is sacrificing themselves to be in the right spot to help and make it look crowded. But like you said, it starts on the ball, but it's a team game, and it's nothing that I'm doing by myself. It's everyone else that's in their gaps, contesting from behind, making it tough. And anytime you got a guy like that and you can build walls, and you got the other 4 guys on the court making it tough and making it look crowded, I think they're doing the best job, making my job easier.
Αντώνης Καλκαβούρας από την Ελλάδα και το Gazeta.gr. Γιάννη, 2 ερωτήσεις θέλω να σου κάνω. Η πρώτη έχει να κάνει με κάποιες δηλώσεις που είχες κάνει αμέσως μετά το Game 1. Όταν κάποιος ερώτησε ότι χάσατε το πλεονέκτημα της έδρας, απάντησες ότι το πλεονέκτημα της έδρας δεν το χάσαμε επειδή χάσαμε ένα παιχνίδι στην έδρα μας. Έχουμε ακόμα άλλα 6-5 όσα παιχνίδια έχουμε μπροστά μας και στην τελική ανάλυση δεν είναι το τελευταίο το επόμενο. Πίστευες γενικότερα ότι η ομάδα γενικώς θα έχει μια τελείως διαφορετική προσέγγιση από παιχνίδι σε παιχνίδι, το ένα, και το δεύτερο, εάν και εφόσον η Βοστόνη είναι ένα από τα αγαπημένα σου γήπεδα. Ξέρω ότι δεν σ' αρέσει να αναφέρεις κάτι τέτοιο, απλά γενικότερα έχω προσέξει ότι σε αυτό εδώ το γήπεδο, όπως λέγαμε και πιο πριν, τα τελευταία 9 παιχνίδια έχεις 31 πόντους, 10 rebound και 6 assist μεσόωρο. Was that a question or
y'all talking about something?
Σίγουρα πιστεύω ότι από το πρώτο παιχνίδι και στο δεύτερο παιχνίδι άλλαξε η προσέγγιση μας και ήξερα ότι θα βγούμε, θα παίξουμε πιο δυνατά, θα είμαστε πιο έτοιμοι πνευματικά και σωματικά. Άμα είναι αυτό το αγαπημένο μου γήπεδο, δεν ξέρω, αλλά ξέρω ότι μου αρέσει να παίζω εδώ μέσα. Και μου αρέσει όταν κερδίζει η ομάδα εδώ μέσα, γιατί τη τελευταία φορά που κερδίσαμε εδώ μέσα ήταν στη regular season και δεν κερδίσαμε πέρσι στα play-off. Δεν έχει σημασία πόσο σκοράρω, απλώς μου αρέσει να κερδίζω εδώ μέσα. Δηλαδή όταν κερδίζει μέσα στη Βοστόνη είναι ωραίο το συναίσθημα.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, so there you have it. The Bucks, with help from George Hill, a big night. Big shots from Connaughton, Middleton, Bledsoe late, and after going down by 22 at home in Game 1, and the Celtics looking like maybe they were the far better team, the Bucks have, in a resounding fashion in 2 consecutive games, look like they indeed belong as the 1 seed. So now the Celtics look to do what they've done